Everybody, we'll wait just a couple minutes for the people to get some food up there. If you want to sit down, we're going to do things back to what we did last month, which is more of a round table. And I know you're looking at this and saying it's not a round table, it's a square table. But you get the idea. We want a lot of participation tonight, and we're going to ask that if you have something to say, that you say it. But just hold up your hand and come on in. I want you to speak from the microphone. That way, you know, we won't have chaos where we have 15 people speaking at once. So if you'll help us with that, we'll make sure you get the microphone. I want to welcome everybody here.
When they make an announcement that's official that everybody agrees on, do we meet on the second or the third Saturday of every month?
Well, Jimmy's going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes, sir, yes.
Thank you so much.
I want to welcome everybody here. Do we have any, I know we have some first-time attendees. Can I see some hands?
Oh, whoa.
Great. I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but if you would, just rise and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found out about us.
Where are you from?
Okay. My name is David Cooper. Live in Waxahachie. Moved here in '93 from Dallas. Married and had 3 boys. One's grown, one's 20, the other 2 are still teenagers. I'm a plumber. I work for First Baptist Dallas. And worked 8 years with him and consider myself a conservative. And tired of doing nothing, so I thought that I would try to do something. So here I am.
Well, we're glad you're here.
What's the name of your plumbing company?
Pardon me?
What's the name of your plumbing company?
I don't have a company. I work for First Baptist Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have a lot of respect for Pastor Jeffries. And I saw some other hands. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Jackie? Jackie and Donald? Where are you guys from?
Jackie and Donald Kingwood from Vernon and Navarro County. I don't consider myself, I am conservative. Have been for quite some time. We own a farm and ranch that we work on.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for being here. Anybody else? Yeah.
Dave Vance, I live here in Waxahachie. I'm the precinct chair, Republican precinct chairman of precinct 106. Also running for commissioner precinct 4 against Ron Brown this time around.
Yay!
There's one vote.
Yeah, but not in the right precinct. And then I'm an independent sports writer for the Innis Daily News. So it's kind of interesting covering one of our Waxahachie rivals, their sports. First time here, Harlan Downs has been trying to get me to come out for quite a few times, but most of the time on Saturdays, I spend a lot of time with family. But I felt like I needed to come tonight, especially after all the stuff that we've been hearing about the vote records being collected. So,
Next time, bring your family.
I tried to get my nephew to come.
We're glad you're here. Anybody else? Do we have any office holders here tonight, or anybody running for office?
Well, where is he? He's running, and
Yeah.
he's running.
Darren, would you?
My name's Darren Brovnick. I'm running against Mr. Dodson in Precinct 2 for County Commissioner. So me and Dave will be sharing a common course of trying to earn the respect and the votes of people in Ellis County. So if anyone who lives in Precinct 2, I'd love to get to meet you and speak with you. And if you live in another precinct, but just have knowledge you care to share with a young mind like mine, I'd be eager to hear it. So.
I'm not really running right now.
You're not running yet.
We're kind of walking. We're going to start running about September.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. A lot of people.
My name's TJ Fabby. I'll be running for state representative again against Jim Pitts. We got our first 28% last time. We're going to work on the next 28% this time.
That'd be enough.
Again, I'm Dave Vance, running for County Commissioner, Precinct 4. One thing to remember is I'm running against somebody, if he decides to run again, that's been in office for 22 years. So I'm going to need a lot of help from everybody. Even if you're not in Precinct 4, you can still contribute to campaigns, you can still help us, and especially get the word out. It's going to be very important because we do make decisions that affect everybody in the entire county. And as we know, the last couple of years, they have not been doing anything in our best interest. If you want to check out my website, I am conservative. I believe in honesty, transparency, and actually listening to people, which they're not doing right now. You can visit my website at votedavevance.com, and I appreciate your support.
You had a question right there.
For us ignorant folks, what is precinct 4? I cannot remember.
Commissioner of Precinct 4.
Well, I understand the geographic area of precinct 4.
Precinct 4 starts at where FM 875 and Business 287 kind of split. It follows 875 on the northern part, goes way out in, well, I won't say way out in Midlothian, but a little ways into Midlothian, and cuts up and goes a lot of red. And
It
halfway
goes up
to
to
three-quarters.
Glen Heights, yeah,
Northwest
North
Clark
Carolina.
County.
all
Yeah.
of Mobile,
And then it cuts over to the east for quite a ways into into Red Oak, and then comes, it's crazy. It winds back around and comes back down.
Isn't it kind of do a U around precinct 2, up around
Let's see, 1, 2, yes. It's really crazy. I've got the big map at home, it's covered.
We're gonna have to start
We
bringing
need to bring
it
it
out.
back out here, because I cannot keep up with geographical precincts in this county.
Well, and if, I'll give you my phone number or email address after the
I'm
meeting,
done with the
and
card.
I've got the database where I can look you up into the voters database and tell you which one
They
you're
go
in.
on the,
Hey, Dave,
Ellis County, has the map up too.
Yeah, Ellis County website also has the map you can take a look at too.
Ellis County,
It's,
elliscounty.org.
yeah,
Just
it's,
Google Ellis County. You'll
all
get
right,
it.
all right.
we've heard open and transparent before, and some people fell for that. Is that gonna be different this time?
it'll be different. You know everything I've been doing with LADC's emergency management, open, I spend, I don't know how much hundreds of dollars on open records requests. I believe in full transparency. Whether you want to hear it or not, you deserve to be able to look at it, so.
I think we might, yeah, Tim,
And I'm going to be running also for precinct 2 county commissioner.
come on up.
Well,
Come on up here. You can't be bashful if you're gonna be a commissioner.
Get up there, Tim.
Well, there's other guys in there now, they're hard. My name is Tim Berniking, and I'll be running also for county commissioner precinct 2. Is that better?
You're gonna be open and transparent.
I'm open and transparent. Open and transparent.
Nice shirt too.
I'll tell you what.
Randy, you just got your hat.
And I know that we have one more. Frank?
I think most of you here know me. I've been here for 2.5 years as a party area. But I'm Frank Kushar. For those of you who do not know me your first time here, I ran against Joe Barton for the United States House of Representatives last time. And if you live in Ellis County, then you don't have to look at a map. You are in District 6.
What about Navarro County down there?
And Navarro County, if we've got to hear somebody from Navarro County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
All in Navarro County, no matter where you live in Navarro, no matter where you live in Ellis, you're in District 6. And there's a reason why I'm taking Mr. Barton on again. It's because we are drifting so far away from the Constitution. We are headed towards a police state. If you don't believe it, just look at the news this past week. And I heard something on the news about the telephone records being amassed by our government. And Congressman Barton made the comment that he did not think that the amassing of those telephone records was unlawful, but he did not think it was a very wise thing to do, or not the best thing to do. Not unlawful.
That means he won't fight against it, doesn't it?
Let me read you this. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. Okay? All right. Amendment 4, part of the constitutional right. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. And no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
Joe doesn't know about it.
Supreme law of the land.
It doesn't
I would say that forget about whatever law you might be thinking of that they broke in amassing those records. This is the supreme law of the land. And it says, seizure of those things without probable cause shall not be violated. I'm sorry. It is illegal. It is unlawful. And it is a violation of our unalienable right to be secure in our person's property and things. And so that's why I'm running. Because I believe in this. This and our devotion to it is the only thing that stands between us and tyranny. And we are fast heading into tyranny. Because this is being shredded and reshredded and reshredded. Because too many think, well, it's not a good thing to do. It's not only a good thing to do, it's unconstitutional. And with that, we lose our rights. So anyway, for those of you that don't know me, once I get going on this, I can keep rolling. But I'm very passionate about freedom and liberty and our rights and our Constitution. And so that's why I'm running again. And this time, it's going to be a different outcome. I can guarantee you. Thank you.
And Joyce has a petition back here. If you haven't signed up and you're a registered voter to get Frank on the ballot, please see Joyce. You'll see that she's got that. We need your help.
My name is R.C. Lyon. I'm going to be running against Judge Carol Bush.
Yay!
If we can get in there, myself, any two of the other people, we will literally be able to take that place over and put it back the way it should have been. No more raising taxes, no more cutting people's pensions, no more changing meetings so that people can't show up anymore. That's the problem that we've got. They want their own personal agenda, and that's where things go wrong. You can't have a personal agenda and be there for the people of the city or the county or the state or the country. They have to be your agenda, not your own personal one, not what you're after for yourself, but for what the people want and what the people need. I think with those of us in this room running, if we can get all in, we can all get in our spots, we can really make a difference and really set things back to the way they were. Thank you.
I think we'll go ahead at this point. I've got a couple more things, but I want to reserve that until after we.
All right, by the way, Frank,
Sir.
how many years, when Joe finishes out his term this time, will he have been in office?
30.
Too many.
Just what our forefathers envisioned, right? We need to petition our Heavenly Father, and I have a special guest here tonight. I hope he keeps coming back. He's from Milford, so it's not too far away. And so come on up, bring that boy. They got a beautiful family. They just brought two of them tonight. I want y'all to all get acquainted with Shane and Tiffany and their two kids. He's going to lead us in a word of prayer. And tell us a little bit about this prayer.
Sure. When I woke up this morning, I had no idea that I would be here. I go to a Bible study with Jimmy and his wife and about 10 or 15 other people. And one of the subjects we were talking about that was brought up basically in a roundabout way was tyranny. And what I spoke to them was a message that I know is not popular. And if I'm run out of here for it, so be it. But I want to tell you the truth from this. These are not my words. These are words from your Creator who wants you to hear them. He wants you to know His name and not call upon any other. And what I spoke to Jimmy was, would he say this? What I'm saying, he flat out said, will you say it? Will you speak? And I said, absolutely, without hesitation. So here I am tonight. Praise be to the Father. So after I speak and read, I would like to pray, and then I'll yield the microphone back over. But the message I have is, first, His name. His name is not God. It's not Lord. It's not Jesus. It's Yahweh. He tells us to call upon His name when we're in trouble. And this nation is in the most dangerous peril we have ever been since the founding of this nation, when the British crossed the Atlantic to attack us. This nation has been under tyranny, as all of you well know, for well more than 100 years. Since 1913, the Federal Reserve Act, I'm sure all of us know about this, and has been a continuous onslaught of one law upon another law. And the scripture says, the proverb says, remove not the ancient landmark which your fathers have set. And that's what the men in Washington and in the state legislature of Texas have done repeatedly. They've removed the ancient landmark which is the United States and the Texas Constitution continually. And no matter how big or how small our endeavor is here tonight or anywhere, we will get nowhere unless we call upon the name of Yahweh.
Amen.
He's our Creator. He sent His Son, Messiah Yeshua, to die for us. And it's through His blood that we can receive grace, forgiveness of sins. We can come back into fellowship with the Father through Him and His blood. And Yahweh wants us to recall His name because our fathers have forgotten His name for Baal, which means Lord. We've forgotten it. We've cast it out as profane. Many people won't even pronounce the name Yahweh. In Hebrew spelled Yud-He-Vav-He. So here we are today, and I can certainly sympathize with the passion, the frustration, the anger that we have towards the federal and state tyranny that we're under today. And I certainly don't want my wife and 6 children to grow up in this kind of tyranny. I see no hope but the name of Yahweh. So He tells us to call upon His name. And I want to read today one of our scriptures that we read in our Bible study today. It says, if you will fear Yahweh and serve Him, and obey His voice, and not rebel against the commandment of Yahweh, then shall both you and also the king that reigns over you continue following Yahweh, your Elohim. And that's good. Elohim is the word for that we use as God. But His name, that's His title, Elohim. So He gives us blessings and cursings continuously throughout His word. And He says, but if you will not obey the voice of Yahweh, but rebel against the commandment of Yahweh, then shall the hand of Yahweh be against you, as against your fathers. And our fathers have rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh continuously by allowing innocent children to be murdered. The blood of the innocents are upon this nation, the nation of Texas, the nation of America. And we must, with all of our heart, soul, mind, strength, all of our resources, turn back to Him. Otherwise, every endeavor that we set forth to do, even in this place, this gathering today, if we don't call upon Him, it will not succeed. Let that sink into your hearts and minds, I beg you. It will not succeed. We can stand around talking and speaking all night till we're blue in the face, but if we invoke His name, the little paper that I was given when I came in here said invocation, and I'm the one giving the invocation. We have to be careful who we're invoking. Are we going to invoke a spirit of anger and frustration, or are we going to invoke the spirit of Yahweh? And that's who I'm invoking in this place. And I pray His blessing upon this meeting tonight. I pray that He blesses each one of you individually and as an assembly here this day, that He would prosper your work, prosper the work of your hands, and give you the right heart, a heart of obedience to obey His voice, obey His commandments, with every fiber of your being, because He doesn't want some of you or part of you. He wants all of you. Every bit of your life. He wants your wife. He wants your children. He wants your house, your car, everything to be His. Because He formed it. He created it. And it's all for His glory. And so are we. We're all for His glory. So with that, I pray that Yahweh would bless all of you, that He would keep you, that He would make His face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, that He would lift up His countenance upon you and give you His peace, and that He would place His name upon you to bless you. And His name is Yahweh. And Yahweh says, not by power, not by might, but by my Spirit, says Yahweh. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Shane. Y'all, I want y'all all to get acquainted with Tiffany, his wife, and with their precious little baby girl and little boy, a little blonde-headed, tacked over there. Smart, well. Y'all get acquainted with them when you get a chance to. Okay, what's next here? Wait a minute, let me read this. Wait a minute, I can't read.
Marty's going to do the pledge.
Go for it, Marty.
Everybody please stand. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
While you're up there, lead us in the text.
You're giving the lead to the ticket.
On against the flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Marty, you're honored. He actually let somebody else lead the pledge.
Yeah, but I'm going to lead the Confederate.
Okay, we've got a lot to do tonight. We're going to get started. I like to kind of warm things up by reading some headlines. That's what I intended to do today when I got on the internet and started looking, and I got so dadgum mad of what I found. But I'm going to read some anyway, and this just came off of Drudge today. Rush Limbaugh says, we're in the midst of a coup. NSA, FBI secretly mining data from internet firms. They're seeking interns to sift through your digital records. And we're filming this tonight, and I'm pretty sure when Henry puts this on YouTube, they're going to be looking at this. So you're going to be a star. They quite literally can watch your ideas as you type. There's a vast data trove out there. Billions of phone calls have been listened to. The Justice Department fights release of court opinion finding unconstitutional surveillance. The USA spends $80 billion a year on secret information gathering. How do you feel? Do you feel like you have any privacy? Postal Service photographs front and back of every piece of mail it processes. NSA snooping is the biggest scandal of your entire life. Government to open criminal probes into leaks about leaks. Obama ordered plans for cyber attacks. NSA mistakenly intercepted emails, phone calls of innocent Americans, mistakenly. Top Democrat operative, liberals must stand up against Obama. New York Times, now this is the New York Times. Tech companies concede to surveillance program. Concern mounts in Congress. New Xbox by NSA partner Microsoft will watch you 24/7. Agency prepares to enforce Obamacare's contraception mandate. The Cincinnati tax collector says D.C. showed unusual interest in Tea Party applications. San Francisco Federal Reserve, Obama tax hikes are slowing recovery. This is good. Colorado counties consider seceding, forming the 51st state of North Colorado. That's because of their gun laws and everything they've done up there.
Right.
Soldier ordered not to read Mark Levin, Limbaugh, Hannity, khaki when in uniform.
Censorship.
And there's a lot more, but in an interest of time, I won't read them. But I did come across something else. There's a guy by the name of Doug Hagman. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of him. Some people consider him way out there, a little bit of a radical. He's a writer for the Canada Free Press. And he had an article today that just scared me to death. And what he says is, he was in D.C. recently with his son to attend a conference, and he got a call from one of his contacts within the government to meet him in the middle of the night. He thought that was a little bit radical, but he agreed to meet him. And so at 3:20 in the morning, he met this guy. Can't say who it is. This guy says, if anyone thinks what's going on right now, with all the surveillance of American citizens, is to fight some kind of foreign enemy, they're delusional. If people think that this scandal can't get any worse, it will, hour by hour, day by day. This has the ability to bring down our national leadership, the administration, and other senior elected officials working in collusion with the administration, both Republican and Democrats. People within the NSA, the Department of Justice, and others, they know who they are, need to come forth with the documentation of policy and practice in their possession, disclose what they know, fight what's going on, and just do their job. He says, I have never seen anything like this ever. The present administration is going after leakers, media sources, anyone and everyone who is even suspected of betrayal. Now that's what they call it, betrayal. Can you, well, I won't say that. This administration considers anyone telling the truth about Benghazi, the IRS, you name the issue, is betrayal. The guy said, well, we already know all this. He said, you don't know Jack. He said, this is bigger than you can ever imagine, bigger than anyone can ever imagine. He said, this administration is collecting names of sources, whistleblowers and their families, names of media sources and everybody they talk to and have talked to, and they already have a huge list.
Turn it off lights and other things. We need to pay the bill.
Sorry, I'm
And they're listening to you.
That was, hey Randy, that was great effect and emphasis on what you were saying. You know what?
Joyce, perfect timing.
Show them how close to the floor a lot of them were.
I like how Randy just kept reading.
He's focused.
She says, if you're not working for MSNBC or CNN, you're probably on that list. If you're a website owner with a brisk readership and a conservative bent, you're on that list. It's a political dissident list, not an enemy threat list. It means that there will be censorship under the color of authority of anyone in the U.S. who is attempting to expose what's going on. It's about controlling any damning information from reaching epic proportions. It's damage control to the extreme. It's about the upcoming censorship of the internet in the name of national security. You know, they've already laid the groundwork for that. The latest reports about spying eyes have turned this administration and others connected to it into something very, very dangerous. They feel cornered and threatened. And I'm hearing about some plans they have to shut down the flow of information that is implicating them of wrongdoing. Time is short. Guy says, how are they going to do this? How is it even possible? He said, first they intend to use the Justice Department to silence journalists like in the Rosen case, but they won't stop there. They will use a host of national security policies, laws, letters, whatever, to take out the biggest threats. Next, they will use some sort of excuse, an external threat. He says, I believe it will be a combination of the economic collapse and a Mideast war that will begin in Syria to throttle the information that is accessible on the internet. And you know what he says? People will believe it. Based on what I've seen, most of what I should not have seen, the Department of Homeland Security is coordinating efforts with other federal agencies to begin to threaten American citizens with incarceration for non-compliance.
Right.
You know the old talk of color-coded list? Well, this is what they're going to be using. People exposing the truth about Benghazi killing the U.S. dollar, even those questioning Obama's legal status and eligibility to be president are the current targets. And they've had 5 long years to get to this point. He said it is the murder of our country and the stripping of our rights. He says, get this information out while you can. Tell people what I'm saying, that we don't have much time, that after the latest exposure of spying, Obama, Jarrett, Axelrod, and others, including members of Congress, have put their plans into high gear. This is about a Marxist takeover of America. This is about our country being able to survive another July 4th holiday. This is about a world war about to break out that will kill millions of people, all because of the agenda of this administration. They are very dangerous and will do anything and everything to stop the onslaught of negative information. And I'll quit there. Now, you don't have to believe that, and some of it I'm not sure I believe. But if even 10% of this is correct, does it scare you? It just terrifies me.
What's the date on that, Randy?
Today, June 8th.
In the past 7 days, there has been, multiple, and I do mean multiple, articles on the web, from Wall Street Journal, even the New York Times, and they all correlate with this. There are reporters in and around D.C. that are digging, and they're scared of what they're finding. And now they're telling the truth. According to the reports that are public, and that's these reporters, we're still looking under the First Amendment here. These reporters are saying that what we're seeing got nothing on what's happening. I'm not Randy, and this may only be 10% true, but with the stack that's coming out, one after the other, folks, as I told my wife on my birthday in January, my distrust of my government drives my politics. And right now, I'm going so far right that it ain't funny. I better hush.
Thanks, Mike. Penny?
Since in the 1900s, like 1997, there has been a writer by the name of Tex Mars. He comes out of Austin. If you don't know Tex Mars, he's written a book. He wrote it in 97. I pulled it out of some books the other day. It's called Lucid, Lucid. And if you'd like to read about what's been going on for many years, which will tell you why we're here today, look up Tex Mars and order his book, and it will explain. And it's real. He's not an alarmist. He's been writing stuff like this for a long time, but people thought it was silly. And it's been going on a long time. It's in place now.
Well, I don't think it's silly. Okay, Frank, you got it.
I'm known for not being radical enough for some of
Who are
the
you?
people in this organization. But I would suggest that any government organization that has national or better scope, who has the right or the assumed right to interfere or observe or monitor your daily activity, whether that be the IRS, whether that be listening in on your internet, whether that be EPA, any of these, any organization that we empower through our congressmen to be able to monitor us on a national scope with a single place of central authority is an invitation to tyranny.
Thank you, Nelson.
Nelson, you didn't introduce yourself.
Nelson Baird. Now we're going to move over. Frank's going to talk about what's going on with our U.S. immigration policy.
Yeah, if I can remember it all. I forgot that was supposed to be my topic.
Or anything else that's going on in Washington.
All right. Let's start with something else that Nelson just touched on. I have a neat little app that lets me know every time Congress makes a vote, especially Joe Barton. June 6th, passage of H.R. 2217 passed the House. Our representative voted for it. That didn't mean much to you, does it, 2217? Let me tell you what it was. Making appropriations for the Department of Homeland Security for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2014, and for other purposes. I just checked the roll call of who voted against it. I think if I remember right, I just checked it. 6 Republicans, only 6 voted against it. Only one of our Texas delegation voted against it, Steve Stockman of Houston. We want to stop the snooping on us, stop giving those that are doing the snooping the money. Plain and simple.
That's right.
But anyway, immigration. Yes, we have this immigration bill, the Gang of Eight supposedly, that is going to go to the floor of the Senate for a vote. Anybody know how that happened?
Procedural malarkey, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, eloquent man sitting right there. Malarkey's a good word for it. Normally they'd have to have 60 votes to get the thing passed. Mitch McConnell, minority leader in the Senate, struck a deal with Harry Reid, everybody's favorite senator in the Senate, majority leader. That is a procedural vote now. They can come before and they can vote on it. They don't have to have cloture, meaning they don't have to have that 2/3 vote to stop debate on it. By a simple majority, they can stop debate of the issue and take a vote and pass it. Now, who controls the Senate? The Democrats do. Simple majority, over 50. What's the likelihood of a Rand Paul being able to stand up and filibuster this like he did before? Or Mike Lee? Or our own Ted Cruz? 0. The leadership, the Republican Party, sold us out again. Now, what's going to happen in the House? God help us, John Boehner. What does this bill entail? Well, it's over 800 pages. It's another one of these, let's pass it so we can find out what's in it deals, right? I was fortunate enough to get to listen to the presentation of someone who has done in-depth analysis of this bill at the Fort Worth 912 meeting past Monday. And I wish I could remember everything he covered. But basically, this bill will create a pathway to citizenship, despite what they say. It will not secure the border, because all they have to do is devise a plan to secure the border. And not the whole border, mind you, just 3 segments of it. Now, do they think these drug cartel people are that stupid that they're going to not say, oh, well, there's 9 segments of the border. They've only secured 3 of them. Gee, I guess we can't get across the Rio Grande to the United States, can we? There's only 6 other ways to get there.
Frank, go backwards and tell them who crafted this legislation.
Well, let's just mention a couple of the real good ones. Senator John McCain. And Senator Lindsey Goober Graham.
Both Republicans, supposedly.
Both Republicans, supposedly.
Rhinos.
Yeah.
Not even that many.
And I might even mention that Goober, and that's an insult to the guy that played Goober on the Andy Griffith
Yeah,
Show.
he's a good guy.
To associate that name with him, isn't it? I like Goober. He was funny. This guy in the Senate is not funny because of what he's doing to our freedom and liberties. But nevertheless, anybody hear the comment he made the other day about the phone records?
Yep. Yes, sir.
He was glad Verizon gave up all those numbers because it's going to be helpful to our security.
I want to reach to the radio.
Yeah. I would ask him, Senator, have you not heard Ben Franklin's comment that they who would give up a liberty for the sake of a little security deserve neither liberty nor security? Have you not heard that? Evidently not. If he has, he's forgot it.
We're here, we know.
Tell who authored this, who started this. Go back to the Richmond area. That's the real,
You talking about Chucky Schumer?
no,
And
I'm
little
talking about the one
Durbin?
in Florida.
Oh, Florida, Rubio. Yeah. Yeah, Marco Rubio is another one that was on it. Disappointing. And they're out there promoting this thing. There is some Christian organization.
Evangelical Christian.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, whatever it is. I heard that and I thought, I want to go to their website and I'm going to tell them how the cow ate the cabbage on this bill. And you can't leave any comments. Oh, that made me mad. But they are pushing it, saying that this is fair, this is good. We got all these people here. We need to be, compassionate type of people. And the bill will not stop the flow of illegals. It is going to increase our spending. It's going to cost us, they estimate, $6 trillion. And all the benefits and goodies that they're going to get. It is going to create economic collapse. Drive out those who are in America looking for work. Overburden our healthcare system, which is already going to be in a shambles come January. And the schools. It's going to economically collapse us. And the point that he made, and then the Saturday before that, I'd also heard a woman speak on Agenda 21, which they have an expert here on it. Rosa, well, she was great. Even if she is a liberal Democrat from California.
Then you don't even need to go to the other side.
No.
Big L.
But between the Agenda 21 and the Civic Immigration Bill, it is a double-edged sword that is going to cut the knees out from underneath our liberty and freedom.
And that's by design. Yeah. That's by design.
And that's by design. It is not by accident. And we have people in the Senate, we have men and women in the House of Representatives who will not stand up and fight this thing. They play these games.
This can be taken.
This is not a... I said, folks, if you don't know me, this is what happens when I get going on this stuff. This is not a game. This is our life, our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives. This is our freedom that they are messing with. I wonder, do these people not get it? That, yeah, you're going to benefit from it personally for a little while. But your children, your grandchildren are not necessarily going to be sitting in your seat of power above all the common folk, exempt from all the things you're doing. The bill, going back to, okay, I'm sidetracked. Getting back to immigration. The bill is also going to just create this chain migration. It's going to expand it.
He needs more voters.
And that within the very short order, next 10, 15 years, I think it was, we could have 30-some million of these people. 33, thank you. I knew it was between 30 and 35. I couldn't remember the exact projected estimate coming in. And that there are some that are connected with the bill who are even saying that they should be allowed to vote because if you pay taxes, it's not fair that you pay taxes but can't vote. How many people here get my newsletter? If you don't, you'd like to receive it, get with me afterwards and let me have your email address. The one that came out yesterday, I was talking about this immigration bill and about citizenship. Excuse me. Citizenship used to mean something. Citizenship used to be something of value, of pride, that carried privileges with it. And yet, the greatest privilege of all that we have as citizens is the right to vote, to select those who will pass laws that govern us. If you give that right just to anybody because they pay taxes, who have not gone through the process of giving up what their former way of life and homeland laws and allegiance, and taking a new allegiance to this country, to our way of life, to the American principles that made us the greatest nation in the world, then what value is our citizenship? What is it worth?
Where did that originate from? I've not heard that one. If you pay taxes, you have a right. Where did that originate from?
That was either Chucky Schumer or Harry Reid or Dick Durbin. I'm not sure which one of the three.
But if the voters don't pay can't vote, then that's okay, because that's most of the Democrats anyway.
Yeah, and that's why.
Democrats vote already.
It was, I heard the interview and I heard the comment, and I can't remember which one went what. I think it was one of those three guys in this.
It sounded like Dickie Durbin.
But this idea of fairness on the immigration, and that's what's driving this thing. We've got to be fair. You can't send 11 million people back home.
Why not? Who says you can't?
That's what they're saying. But let me ask you this: fairness. Fairness. I'm so sick of hearing fair, other than talk about the fair tax. But I'm sick of hearing fair. How many here have ever been on the freeway, stuck in traffic because of an accident or construction, and you've maybe gone 100 yards in the last 30, 45 minutes? Everybody been in that situation? Now let me ask you this. How many times have you been in a situation and you see some yahoo come flying up the shoulder, lickety-split, go way up there, and then try to barge in?
Not try, barge.
Now, what are you thinking? I tell you what I'm thinking. Don't let that jerk in, don't let him in, don't let him in, don't let him in. I hope there's a bunch of class up there, you run over it and you get 4 flat tires. Because why? It's not fair. I've been sitting here for 45 cotton picking minutes in this heat, and I've only gone 100 yards. It's not fair that you think your time's more valuable than mine. You just go flying up there and barge right on in. That we can relate to, can we not? We've all been in a situation like that. Well, what do you think the people who stayed in their home country for years because we've got such a convoluted, messed up immigration system, who did it by the book, who went by the rules, who came here, wanted to learn and speak English, and their desire is to become Americans, unhyphenated.
Yes.
To become part of this great melting pot that our country used to be. If we can think about the idiot driving up the freeway on the shoulder and think that's not fair, how do you think those people feel when we tell these 11 million, probably more people, y'all come on in, have a seat, welcome. You need some food stamps? You need some Social Security benefits you haven't paid into? You need some free medical help? You need some free schooling? You need a job training? Oh yeah, there you go. You need a cell phone? A mama phone?
Lone Star card.
How can we be a nation that says we are fair in immigration?
Because fair is unfair.
Because fair is
Unfair
unfair,
is
that's
fair.
exactly right.
Darkness is light and light is darkness.
Nelson?
But you must understand the definition of fair from a liberal's point of view. Fair means inadvantageous to people who would vote for me.
Yeah, that's right. But let me tell you what Frederick Bastiat said is fair.
Who?
Frederick Bastiat. He was a Frenchman who wrote in 1843 a little book called The Law.
You can download it.
I think it should be required reading in every high school civics course. It is not that difficult of a read. It's a little itty-bitty book about that long. It shouldn't take more than an hour or hour and a half to read it. They read it carefully. But he's talking about the concept of law. And we tell ourselves in America, we are a nation of laws. This Constitution, as I read a minute ago, is the supreme law of the land. All are to be considered equal under the law, treated the same. That's the definition of fairness. And towards the end of his book, how many people have read it? A few? If you haven't read it, I really encourage you to read it. Joyce, towards the end of the book, what question does Bastiat ask over and over and over again?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. He asked the question. Anybody else remember the question? The question is, what is the law? He asked that question over and over and over and over again in the latter part of his book. You know what his answer is every time? Then he goes on to a little bit of discussion about it. What is the law? One word answer. The law is justice. Every time he asked that question towards the end of his book in the discussion, the answer he gave was, the law is justice. And what is justice? It's not what Nelson defined fair to be in the liberals' eyes. Justice is every man and woman being considered equal with the same inalienable rights granted to us by our Creator, therefore equally treatable under the law. That is justice. And this immigration bill is not justice. If it becomes law, it will not meet that criteria of being just, because it will discriminate, it will divide, and it will create such a burden on this country, we will collapse under the weight of it. Now, I know that's not getting really the nitty-gritty details of it, but I promised Keith that I would get him the contact person, contact for this guy's name, and maybe he can come to one of our meetings and give it, because he can just go through it, and your jaw's just going to drop. This bill has got to be stopped. So we've got to put pressure on our legislators. We don't have to worry about Cruz. He's already come out and said it's a bad deal. He'll vote against it. Cornyn, I think, he'll probably go along because he's watching the lead that Ted is getting, and he seems to be kind of following right along with him. I'm concerned about what Boehner and the kind of stunts they're going to pull in the House, because it's going to pass the Senate. There's no, that's a done deal.
What they're going, the way they're going to try and talk the Republicans into it is that if we have more people here paying